Welcome to the Liquidity Event, a show about all things personal finance with a laser focus on taxes, financial independence, and equity compensation. Hosted by AJ and Shane of Brooklyn FI, each episode will focus on a personal finance topic, some driven by news headlines and sometimes driven by listener questions. And sometimes you'll just get two money nerds rambling about what they think is interesting. Just a quick note before we get started, this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered tax or investment advice.
Hello, and welcome to the Liquidity Event. I'm your host, AJ Ayers.
And I'm Shane Mason.
And this is episode 164, being recorded on November 12th, airing on November 13th. Oh my God, the year's almost over. You can email us your finance questions at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com, and we will answer them live on the air. How are you doing this morning, Mr. Shane?
I've been better, to be honest.
What happened?
I'm sorry I'm a little late.
You were 5 minutes late, so tell us why you're late.
Read my article, stepped out to get coffee, walked back. I turned the Roomba on. Key aspect of this morning, to let it clean up the house while I'm gone. Come home to, like those mirrors that are like 7 feet tall that you used to get ready in?
Oh no.
The Roomba, I guess, did a kamikaze mission into the mirror. And I come back and it's just mirror particles shattered all over the living room. And I'm like, fuck, so I'm cleaning that up. And
did you rub the Roomba's nose in it, basically?
I'm cleaning that up, there's a monitor precariously perched in a high traffic area, and somebody's butt hits it, and there goes $300. So we're $700 in the hole this morning, AJ.
Is that my monitor?
No, your monitors are fine.
Okay.
This is the monitor that I'm subletting. Yeah, no, don't. Of course, AJ, straight to. Is it my monitor? No, your monitors are fine. Well, for now, they've got a few more days.
All right.
So, insult to injury, I'm back and I'm always moving around the world. Luckily, I've been in this place for a couple of months now, but I'm moving on Friday. So it's just like domestic mayhem. But yeah, fun stuff. What's going on with you? How you doing?
Okay. Kind of all quiet on the Western Front here. Actually, a weird period of travel, or a period of non-travel, getting ready to go to the West Coast to visit some friends and family for Thanksgiving. And
where are you doing Thanksgiving?
I'm doing Thanksgiving in Palm Springs in California, but I'm going to do a little quick family visit in Seattle first. I guess I'm trying to finish my book, but I'm mostly procrastinating about that, so I don't really want to talk about it. But it is due this weekend.
I thought it was done. Yeah, it's due this weekend.
Yep, it's due this weekend. So we're in the final home stretch, but I think we've reached a point where I just got to let it go. I could tinker with it for another year if left to my own devices, and I think it's time to let someone else edit it. Well, folks, today on the show, what?
Wait, so you have finished it. You're going Hemingway mode on it, where you're cutting everything down to the essentials and rewriting.
It is certainly not Hemingway-esque in its brevity. I am not a Hemingway-esque in terms of my writing style. I would say it is the opposite of Hemingway.
The young woman in the podcast. Is that the name of
his brief? With hills like white. He's hills like white elephants, right? Or is that somebody else? Anyway.
No, yeah, that's Farewell to Arms. I think he talks about the lions on the shores of Africa.
Right. Yeah, we got to go back to liberal arts school. Anyway, folks, today on the podcast, we've got big news on the housing front and a potential 50-year mortgage. A government shutdown, or as I like to call it, a government shitdown. And we've got pay packages for billionaires and something about credit card rewards. Quickly, before we dive into the articles, I do want to talk about credit cards just because everyone likes talking about credit cards. And I have a question for you. We have about 6 weeks left in the year.
Yep.
You and I have both reached diamond medallion status for next year.
Yes.
Where are you putting we're about to enter the holidays. We're doing a bunch of travel, buying gifts for people. Which credit card are you putting all your spend on right now?
It's a great question. It's been on my mind recently because I have lost one of my credit cards. I don't know where it is. And that is the one I want to be putting my spend on. And I do not have the numbers saved in OnePass. So there's three choices to very Shane response for you.
Anyway.
So we do the delta up until we hit, I forget what it is across business and personal, 250,000 of spend. You and I both do that. We hit that by like September. I then do my Marriott stuff to make sure I hit bonuses there, but the bonuses there are kind of like a default. As long as you carry the card, you get like 35 nights In the Marriott, I'll use that for any hotel spend. But besides that, those points are actually dog shit. You get like half a cent per point, which is terrible.
They're like, you have 35 nights, and then it's like, actually, it's 3 nights. So
yeah, I've got like 400,000 points on Marriott after a ton of spend, and that's like a few nights at a decent hotel. What I would like to be spending it on is on Chase Ultimate Rewards, which are the primo reward spend. So if I had my Sapphire Reserve on me, that's what I would be buying all my coffees and gifts. And I did a charitable donation to a deceased friend of the family recently on a credit card. That's where that would have gone. A little virtue signaling for our listeners. That's where that would have gone. What about you? Where are you spending?
Yeah, I had a similar thing. I don't know. I know that the knowledge, and I've done the math, that Delta cards are not the best place to spend money because once you hit status, obviously status is, it's important to me because I travel so often. But there's something about just racking up Delta miles because I fly so often that appeals to me. And yes, I agree that the Chase rewards are killer. In fact, I just booked a hotel in Seattle, a nice hotel that dollar amount was like $400, and I like randomly logged into Chase and I had like a couple 100,000 points, and I was like, oh, sick.
And those are primo points.
And those are good points. So I am actually in the same boat as you. But Marriott, like the hotel programs, it's just too hit or miss. It's just not worth it. So I'm actually going to back off my Bonvoy and maybe cancel it, that business card we have, just to simplify our accounting a little bit. And I'm going to go a little bit harder on Chase for sure. I don't have the Reserve. I have the Preferred, which is a little bit cheaper. I forget. I think it's like $200 a year, and you get a lot of the same perks. You just don't quite get the lounge access, but I have the lounge access through other things. So,
but now they have the Reserve for business, so maybe it's time to explore that.
Maybe it's time to throw that one on the thing.
I don't care, bro. Go for it. Do your thing. You can hear us negotiating live on the Liquidity Event.
All right. Wait, I have one more curveball before we start talking about housing.
We can't forget Amex in general, like the Amex points. Where do you?
Sure. Well, yeah, I guess
ranking of Amex points overall.
I mean, honestly, the return on you are a big proponent of return on hassle, and I think about that a lot, and that's why I ride hard for Delta, just because it's simple and it's all in one place. And I mean, how many times a week do you log into the Chase Sapphire portal? Like 0. Whereas I log into the Delta portal 3 times a week to book travel.
Yeah. The only thing I will say about the Amex thing is that when you're stuck in an off airport and there's you have the choice of, this is such a first world problem, but I think all of our listeners have these problems. And you can't get it. It's a priority pass or Delta, and you can't, like, the priority pass is like a shithole. Sorry, it's a shithole.
Something weird happened.
Because that can happen.
Wait, so you're saying you need priority pass?
I'm riding for the MX Centurion Lounge access.
Oh, Centurion, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if you get the like if you splurge for that can create a airport experience that is above par. If you're stuck in an airport. You're like in Schiphol Airport or whatever in Amsterdam, or you're in Mexico City. Sometimes the Delta lounges have been under construction. I should say the
MX lounge in Mexico City is fire. Yeah, and I only got in because I was with Nabil, so that was a humbling moment for me, which I did not enjoy. Anyway,
enough assholing on the podcast. Rich assholing.
Speaking of rich assholes, let's talk about New York City tax policy. So we talked last week, or was it the week before, a little bit about Mamdani and his victory, which, we'll see that policy play out. But you and I specifically, as business owners and as accountant advisors to about 50 business owners, I was thinking about S corporations. And a lot of folks who start businesses go to their accountants and they say, I'm going to start a business. And the accountant goes, oh, you should have an S corporation. And that can make sense. It's a great way to shield some of your income if you pay yourself a wage from payroll taxes. So you can save it's about like 8.5%. That makes sense for a lot of businesses, except in New York City. And why is that, Shane? Why does an S corporation not make sense if you live, aka you have an apartment? Don't try to escape it, you idiots. Why does it not make sense to have an S corp in New York City?
Unfortunately, New York City has a special tax on corporations, and S corporations fall within that umbrella, or under that umbrella of income that is sourced from a business. And there is only in the city a special tax on the income from S corporations. I mean, it also applies to C corporations, of course, but S corporations get lumped in with them. and you have to pay about 8.8% tax on your income from your S corporation. So all the money that you save from avoiding Social Security and Medicare tax, which, by the way, we need to note that what you pay into Social Security does come back to you as long as the trust fund doesn't melt down by the time, by 2060 or 2070 when you're collecting from it, which I don't think that it will. That's not money burned. That is actually deposits into a perpetual annuity for when you retire. So, you're saving Social Security now. Of course, you could invest that, but because of the special, circling back to the New York City tax, you're going to pay that all in income tax to the state, to the city of New York, which you never do get back. I mean, you could argue that it goes into the subway, it goes into cleaning the streets, but in terms of you specifically, personally recovering that money in retirement, you'll never see that again. So it needs to be known.
Yeah. So my thinking was, we've got lots of campaign promises about raising taxes on the wealthy, and that's, scaring people about a lot of these wealthier business owners are going to leave New York City. What about a nice carve out for S corporations? What if, the first, 5 million of income from S corporations could be carved out from that corporation tax? That would be a nice incentive for businesses to move here or stay here. What do you think?
We're doing more hot takes, hot tax takes.
I love hot tax takes.
hot tax takes. I actually have one for later. So under one of the articles. So it's been stewing since 7:30 a.m. Eastern. So maybe it's not as hot, but I like it. I mean, frankly, there's just not enough. The tax rates on the rich are not as high as they should be. I think anybody left of center agrees that putting more money into the pockets of the working class is going to have a ripple effect across the economy and accelerate growth because of consumer spending. Consumer spending is quite low. We're going to talk about discounts on building, on new builds of homes in one of our articles, and that is within the same theme. So I'm with you on this hot take, AJ. I think there should be a carve out for the working class, aka people making less than $5 million a year.
Which is that is the working class. And those are the employers. That's the thing. Like, people who own S corporations employ people. That is true wealth creation, taxpayers. Like, these are people feeding money right back into the system. Anyway, I don't have a good segue here. Frontier Airlines CEO on air travel reductions. Buy a second plane ticket from competitors if you don't want to get stranded. I love this so much. The Frontier CEO posted on a now deleted LinkedIn post that his customers were so screwed that they should abandon his airline and have a backup ticket if they wanted to get to their destination during the government shutdown.
I love
honesty, honestly.
Yeah, it is pretty easy to dunk on discount airlines. Dear listener, don't forget that these discount airlines, before they existed, there was essentially a duopoly, triopoly, an oligarchy of the big four: United, American, Delta, Northwest. I forget what it was. And they could just push prices however they wanted. They could collude. And then these discount airlines, the JetBlues, the Spirits, and the Frontiers came in. And there is many studies that show that any market that these airlines move into, the median price of a ticket out of that airport drops significantly. It's double-digit percentages. So while you may not like flying Frontier or Spirit, you can thank them for driving down the price of your Delta flight.
For sure. But also, I want to say that for years, I was a Frontier and Spirit frequent flyer because if you wanted to go from Los Angeles to New York cheaply, which was my top criteria for flying, it was going to be Frontier or Spirit, or on the West Coast, it used to be Alaska, but now Alaska's trying to be Delta, which is very confusing for consumers.
I mean, to the Frontier, first of all, are Frontier people on LinkedIn like, okay, I'll buy a backup ticket? Like, if you only have enough money for Frontier, you clearly don't have money for a backup ticket, a JIC ticket to fly to your destination. Am I wrong?
A CYA.
I mean, if you had the money for a United ticket, you would have bought that in the first place, I believe. Do you think more Frontier flights will be canceled than Premier
flights?
That's
what there's. It's all, like you were saying. There's a lot behind the scenes. There's buying routes, there's buying credits, there's gate space. There's a lot of, horse trading that goes on to prioritize routes for the airlines that have more profits
margin
to play around it. Yeah, more margin.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I want to say.
I
on
am
this,
just glad I'm not flying until. Well, actually, I have to fly on I think we're both flying the same day on Thursday the 20th, right?
I'm on the 28th. I changed it.
Okay.
My renovations got pushed again.
Classic. Okay. Anyway. Oh, speaking of home renovations.
Well, the last thing I want to say, AJ, before we
No!
transition out of here, I'm sorry, is that the chaos of this administration it hasn't even been a year of this administration, AJ, and how long has it felt? Not to dunk on Republicans, but we've got the volatility that we experience with tariffs, which will, it looks like, be overturned, and all of the money that was paid into the tariff system will not be refunded to the people that paid the tariffs, the individual purchasers at the retail side, but the businesses, for some reason, are going to be receiving those tariffs, and that's just bizarre. We got a war off the coast of Venezuela for some reason. We're just bombing people in the Pacific and the Gulf of America. We've got millions on the deportation list that were driving down the prices of providing in agriculture, in retail, in restaurants, etc. Inflation is not under control. And now we've got over 10% of flights being canceled right before Thanksgiving. So I just want to hone the message here that this volatility is not good for the economy. And just cutting taxes for the rich and then doing all of these things is what are we doing here?
Yep.
That's not policy. Just chaos.
Yeah. Not to mention our any government service that people rely on to run their lives or their businesses are shut down at the moment. And obviously air travel is a very obvious one because you can CBS News can park an anchor in front of the airport and show the crazy lines and the TSA workers, but there are so many other little things that aren't making headlines that are making people's lives very difficult. I mean, the SNAP benefits thing right now is a fucking nightmare.
Besides,
people cannot get access to food that they have relied on. And whatever your politics are, I don't care. To take something, I mean, you and I know this with our employees. You can't tell someone you get summer Fridays off and then take it away. You can't tell someone you're going to subsidize their grocery bill because their wages are so low because corporate profits are out of control and then just take it away. It doesn't work like that. If you're going to make these policy changes and you think that there's too much spending in certain sectors of government, fine. That's what you voted for. Fine. Let's do it. We have 4 years of this administration to do it. Let's do it in a way that makes sense. And let's do it in a way that's not going to disrupt local economies and ruin people's lives, which is basically what I've felt like for the past year. And I have been spared from most of the actual life ruining things because I'm an upper middle class white woman, and that's sick. That's good for me, but it hurts me that so many other people who thought they were going to get good change are having their lives ruined. So there's my soapbox for the day.
That's right. All right, back to discounts. Yeah,
I
forgot. Thank you for the SNAP reminder. I mean, these are also employees of Walmart and Amazon that are receiving SNAP benefits. So let us not forget corporate welfare.
And again, if you find yourself in a place where you have a lot of disposable income and you're thinking about, end of year tax planning, folks, now is a great time to make those donations to your local, mutual aid societies. Or, hey, if you're you had a great year in terms of the stock market propping up your net worth, and you thought about charitable contributions, now's a great time to do that. It's a great year for tax deductions and for putting some of that back into the economy. Not that it should be on your shoulders, but it's a nice thing to do. Anyway, there's my virtue signaling. You got to virtue signal earlier. Now I'm going to do some as well. Builders are offering mortgage rate discounts and home buyers aren't biting. So with mortgage rates floating, around 6.5%, these new builds all over the places, happening all over the country, on the coast and in the middle and in the south and in the north, 4%-ish mortgages. But people don't want to move into these new builds. What do you think is going on? I thought housing supply was the whole problem, but now we're seeing that we have potentially too much supply. So what's going on here, Shane?
Well, deep in now.
Here's your tax rant you've been saving. Okay, please stop right.
No. This is not. This is not. Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. Well, there is an Asian element to my response to this. Speaking of the Freudian slip that just slipped out of my mouth. First of all,
is that because I've been sending you the memes of the guy who sings in an Asian accent and when he doesn't have one? Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, there's an Asian guitar player on TikTok or whatever, millennial TikTok, Instagram, who plays songs with I would say racist Asian accent, but he's Asian, and his wife in the background just sits there and rolls her eyes, and it's very funny. So I will send you one. Anyway, sorry. Back to your rant.
I saw Tom Segura at the King's Theater in Brooklyn recently, and he talked about how an Asian accent is not, for some reason, you just can't do it in a party. Even if
Nope.
he like started to do one, and he's like, I just did that to make you realize how hard it is to do
Can't
it.
do
Like, you
it.
can't pull it off. Like, stop doing that as soon as
Yep,
someone
can't do
starts
it.
to, yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't realize that this firm, D.R. Horton, publicly listed as DHI, makes 15% of all new homes in the United States, which kind of makes sense with like the cookie cutter manufacturing that we see here in the United States. But it's knocking 3% off of its average selling price over the past 12 months. There's a chart here that shows that the number of completed but unsold key new homes are the highest they've been since 2009, which was not a great year
For
for
housing,
completed
new builds,
and to
and
circle
discount
back.
mortgages for that matter.
Yeah, this is a nationwide average. So there are commentary. Anytime you talk about the residential real estate in the United States, you have to talk about individualized markets, because it would be like saying, there's a France, a Germany, and Italy in the United States. If you said, you got to break it down. So one of the items that I've noticed here is that in the article, not that I noticed, but specifically, specifically in California, there is a massive glut. There's typically a 2-to-1 ratio of brand new homes that are unsold to homes that are on the market. There's 7 in California, and a lot of that is due to this turnaround on foreign buyers, aka people that would typically be moving on H-1B visas to Southern California or anywhere in California to get high-end tech jobs, suddenly have cold feet around moving to the United States. And I don't know why that would be the case. AJ, any theories on why that would be the case?
My theory is that the new houses they're building are just ugly, and that people want nice old houses that have a patina, is the word in the interior design space. I heard this
Craftsman homes.
Craftsman, mid-century modern, my personal favorite. Yeah, I agree. I think the rhetoric currently being spewed is not very friendly to folks who have unique skills that are very valued by tech companies, and the United States is not the only place that has innovation in the tech space and is willing to pay those high salaries. So that could be the reason why these ugly new homes are going unsold. This is one of those stories where it's like, okay, we notice a little bit of a dip in this one sector, but for some perspective, new home sales versus homes that have not been built and have been lived in before, they're only about 1/5 of the total U.S. housing transactions. So we're talking about 1/5 of the big pie, but still, it's a trend. I think it's because the houses are ugly, personally.
I'm not a fan of new homes myself, so I'm with you on that one, sister.
Speaking of ugly housing, the Trump administration has tweeted and truth socialed about a potential 50-year mortgage, as opposed to the more traditional 30-year mortgage. We also have 15-year mortgages in some cases, but most mortgages, I don't have the stats, but most of them are 30 years. This idea has been floated before, but come on. Just if you run the math, like, the beauty of a mortgage is that you get to amortize it over many years, and you pay some interest to the bank. The bank wins. That's why banks are incredibly profitable. But after 30 years, you build up equity in your home. The first couple years, you're probably paying all interest, but usually by year, 3 or 4, at least you're starting to build that equity. But if you stretch out that amortization over 50 years, it is a very long time until you own any of that home. And because of the way the math works and because you're paying so much more interest, your monthly payment doesn't go down all that much. So I think the idea here was, all right, people can't afford homes. Let's get their payments lower. And just quick math, if you have a $500,000 mortgage, you'll pay about $300 less a month in a 50-year versus 30-year mortgage, but you'll pay about $600,000 more in interest. So twice the value of the home over the lifetime of that loan. $300 a month for a lot of people could be a huge difference. Like, I'm not going to knock that, right? If that's the mortgage you need. But in terms of math, folks, this is a terrible idea. Thoughts?
Yeah, I for one am a big fan of indentured servitude. Why not work for 49 years just to have the bank come in year 49 and repossess your home? Because at some point over 50 years, you never had one hiccup in your finances, right? That surely happens to everybody. I'm 38 years old. If I signed up for a 50-year mortgage, I would be 88 years old. Not to, do heady CPA arithmetic here on the podcast for you,
I
dear
hate when you do
listener.
that.
Yeah. But hey, why not? I mean, I would say this is a great idea. It ranks up there with getting a free ride across the ocean to the United States and then having to work as a slave for, 10, 15 years. And then you're a free man after that. And hey, if you don't make it, at least there's debtor's prison where you can pay off your dues with just time behind jail bars. I don't know. I think this is another great technological innovation by this administration that's really propping up the working and middle class that voted for them in here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just digging into this a little bit. This guy, Bill Pulte, who is my age, by the way, and he inherited his wealth. He's trumpeted as an American businessman. He inherited his wealth. He's third generation. Guess what his family business is?
That costs $300, by the way, just to create an LLC. You get to then be businessman. What an achievement! Did he graduate from a high school as well? I'm sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
I think so, but he's third generation wealth of the business of construction. So his family, really really earned his position here. But I mean, basically, there was a conversation that happened at Mar-a-Lago between this American businessman and our president, and then someone was like, "That seems like an interesting idea," and then the guy basically tweeted about it, and then Trump on Truth Social posted a visual of great American presidents. With Roosevelt on the left with a 30-year mortgage and Trump on the right with a 50-year mortgage. So he is comparing himself to Roosevelt as if this 50-year mortgage is the great innovation after the 30-year mortgage. The math ain't mathin'. This is basic arithmetic.
Most Europeans do 15-year mortgages. Like, if they can do it. Have you seen the TikToks, by the way, of Europeans making fun of the American dream, and it's just them living an incredible life in Europe and just like talking? They're awesome. They're. It's like, You have a point there, young sir.
Yeah. Please pass the red wine. Please pass the vino. I don't have it. I'm really off on my segues today.
I'm
Tesla
very spicy
shareholders.
today, so with you.
Was I spicy? Was I spicy?
No. I'm just being one-sided and dickhead to the Trump administration. I mean,
That's fine.
go for it.
Tesla says shareholders approve Musk's pay plan with over 75% voting in favor. The headline is that Elon Musk is getting $1 trillion pay package from Tesla. The facts are that he has to hit these insane metrics. And if you add it all up and he hits all of them, it approaches a couple $100 billion. But basically, they're performance units, basically. Musk will get more shares of Tesla if he increases the market cap of Tesla to an astounding amount. I think it's about like 8 trillion, delivering 20 million vehicles, 1 million robot taxis, 1 million humanoid robots. This is a PR fluffy piece. Shane, can you please design a pay package for me where I can earn $1 billion over the next 5 years? Just tell me what metrics I need to hit.
All you
and
gotta do, you gotta hit $5 billion of revenue. I mean, this is such a clickbaity thing. Like, yes, of course, there is incentive-based rewards for growing a company to an appropriate amount. Now, his board is not a real board. It's all sycophants and his family, literally. But no one's going to approve something wherein they don't get to benefit from some part of runoff of the growth of the enterprise value of Tesla. So it's going to get a lot of clicks with this $1 trillion pay package, but I would gladly pay him $1 trillion if he makes me $5 trillion in, EBITDA, net enterprise value, revenue, whatever. So yeah, I'm sure I didn't read the pay package. I've got better things to do with my life. I do think it's interesting that he backed away from the public spotlight while all of this was being designed and put together over the last 8 months. So it seems like he's gotten focused or refocused on what it is that he does best, which is drive up inflated stock values. So,
and tweet about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you want to increase the market cap of Tesla. You could violate the insider trading rule and post a tweet that the SEC will then investigate.
He's better at capitalism than government. So I really hope that this works out for all of us. Serious. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you this is a choose your own adventure. Do you want to talk about, we have 3 minutes left, do you want to talk about the AI and crypto space, or do you want to talk about this very interesting couples personal finance question?
I'll just say one thing that I have here on the crypto thing. There's this article
Okay,
from
let's
the
do it.
information. I'll steal
Yep,
the introduction for you about who
please.
has performed well and who hasn't. IPOs are back according to the information. They're not, but some AI and some crypto IPOs have performed quite well. Circle, which we covered on this podcast extensively, has tripled in value, and a lot of AI, money is chasing AI. And JP Morgan, this is what I want to talk about, did a CapEx report, and apparently we have spent collectively about $650 billion so far on AI, data centers,
Mhm.
engineering, what have you so far, which is a huge number. So it's all about ROI, of course, like how are we going to recover that? And apparently, with that amount of spend, to get a 10% return, which is a pretty low return, honestly,
Mhm.
we need quite a bit of revenue to the tune of $650 billion of annual revenue. I'm sorry, we haven't spent $650 billion. We've spent so much that we need $650 billion of revenue,
At
which
least.
which equates to every single Netflix subscriber paying $180 per month. This is anything but the metric system here in the United States. Every Netflix subscriber would need to spend 180, which means millions, hundreds of millions of people, 180 per month in perpetuity. What they're trying to say is we have spent so goddamn much money on AI,
Yeah.
it's going to be very hard to get our money back.
Mhm.
Thus driving all of the speculation on it being a bubble, and there being, not everyone can win. So there's going to be some spectacular losers coming in the near term related to all this AI spend is the takeaway there.
Yeah. Well said. I think that we're going to see contraction in the space for sure. It's interesting. A lot of our, I've been talking to some potential clients over the past couple weeks as it's the end of the year, so people are thinking about money. So they're like, hey, I should reach out to a financial advisor. And I've heard 3 different people say, hey, I'm really nervous about investing in the market, or is this AI bubble going to pop? And, what do? I put on my financial advisor hat and I pull out my handy dandy history of the markets chart, and I show the crash of 1929. I show the 70s OPEC. I show the 2008 financial crisis, 2020 pandemic. And I say, look, maybe this bubble is going to pop. Maybe some of these losers are going to drag down the entire stock market for a few years, maybe a few months. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But I have faith in the forward progress of innovation to make this about just the general economy. Like, we seem to be going generally in the right direction in terms of the innovations that are possible. The AI tech is cool. I mean, I feel like we're repeating conversations we had about blockchain like 3 years ago, where I was like, I don't really quite understand the implications of this, but it seems really cool. And we haven't seen a ton of amazing innovation for the human race with blockchain yet. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with AI. That's my lukewarm take. And with that, oh, please, did you want to say
We
something?
don't have time for me to compare AI to blockchain. I mean,
Okay.
there's like a 17 windmill dunks available for that comparison that I don't have prepared here, but I'm with you, sister.
Okay, amazing. Well, in that case, thank you so much for listening. You can email us your financial problems at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com. And finally, Stans can leave us a review if they want to be weird about it. It's been awesome. We will see you next week.
Bye.